There are several ways of automating objects in TiMax panLab. This video is going to cover snapshots and sequences. OSC, MIDI and timecode recall will be covered in a separate video. This video assumes you've already watched one of our Getting Started videos and know how to connect to a device and add sources and speakers. Okay, let's start with snapshots. If you're using TiMax panLab to connect to QLab, this section of the video will not be relevant, as snapshot automation is not compatible with QLab connections. A snapshot allows you to store position, level, and metadata information for all sources at once. Snapshots are added to a queue list for recall later as part of a performance. So, we have some sources in the panner and we want to store our first snapshot. To do this, head over to the Snapshot tab. Then, click the Add Snapshot button. We can give the snapshot a name and we can set a duration in the left panel. If we select the snapshot, a few things happen. We can see that our new snapshot has appeared in the right-hand side inspector panel. It has also been listed as the next snapshot in the status overlay window. Whenever a snapshot is shown here, it can be fired by pressing the spacebar on the keyboard. We could also fire the next snapshot via external control or by pressing the recall button in the left panel. Each source contained within a snapshot can be brought in or out of recall scope in the right-hand side inspector panel. We can view which parameters will or will not be recalled with this button. Let's move our sources and create a second snapshot. As we are automating source positions, we can see the result of this automation in the panner. Snapshots can be individually recalled by OSC, MIDI, and incoming timecode. Full details of the OSC dictionary and MIDI addresses can be found in the TiMax panLab documentation, but the recall ID, as well as target timecode values, can be set here. Let's move on to sequences. Where a snapshot allows for the recall of all sources in a file, sequences allow you to draw movement automation for an individual source. To create a sequence, let's head back over to the Sources tab and select a source. When a single source is selected, you'll see that the Sequences inspector appears in the right-hand side inspector panel. This section lists all the sequences associated with the currently selected source. It is not available if multiple sources are selected. Let's add our first sequence and give it a name. We are prompted to move the source to record the automation. As soon as you do so, the movement path is displayed in the panner. When we release the mouse button, the sequence is stored. We can start it and stop it here, and loop it here. If we want to, we can move the sequence path on the panner, or even edit the position of each individual node in the sequence. The sequence duration can be adjusted from here. We can adjust the duration in three ways. We can create a constant speed of movement over a set duration. Alternatively, we can change duration whilst maintaining proportional changes in speed. Finally, we can change the sequence duration to match any given tempo. We can tap tempo, or set a value in the BPM field. We can decide how many bars we want the sequence to run for, and enter how many beats there are in a bar. If you have multiple sequences you'd like to update with BPM changes, we have introduced a global BPM parameter. You can map the sequence to the global BPM value by checking this checkbox. The global BPM value can be set here. Sequences can be copied and pasted between sources, and we can also add frequently used sequences to the sequence library. Finally, sequences can be added to snapshots here. When you recall the snapshot, the sequence will also be recalled.